Hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Swift, Duchess of Rock and Roll. I'm here today in Chicago at Lincoln Hall with
Tyler Bryant from the Shakedown.
Tyler Bryant from the Shakedown. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Ready to rock Chicago?
Yeah, I know, right? What a beautiful day we got here.
It's been a hell of a tour. You know, it's three great bands on the road: Thomas Wynn and the Believers, the Temperance Movement, and the Shakedown. And you know, we're having a great time in every city we go to.
Yes. I feel like I've almost been on the tour.
I know, yeah.
Like, my husband and my daughter and I joined up with the tour in Columbus.
Okay.
Passports didn't come in time to get to Toronto.
Yeah.
Super sad. And then Detroit. You guys did the whole East Coast swing already this run.
Yeah, I don't really keep up with.
I was going to say, do you ever, you know how people like giant bands will be like, good night, Detroit, and they're in California? Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, that's happened to me before, but I write down the city name on the
set list
or whatever. I don't keep a set list in front of me, but Noah or Graham will normally have
on
one.
The side.
And so if I need to know what we're doing, then I will go and take a look at theirs, and they always have the city name. So I've gotten to a point where if I'm not 100% sure, I'll wander
to the
over
one side
and figure out for sure what city we're in, because I have said the wrong thing before. Even like we were out on tour with Blackstone Cherry, and I walked out on stage and said, "Are you ready for Blackberry Smoke?" And
it's a good thing they're all friends.
Yeah, and people cheered, and then I kind of waddled off stage with my tail between my legs, you know.
Oh, that's funny. But they're friends. And, you know, it's funny because I've been hearing about you for, I don't know, years. And then I'm never in the same city as you, but then you toured with my buddies Blackberry Smoke.
Yep.
And then I couldn't make any of those dates. And everybody's messaging me, have you seen Tyler Bryant? Have you seen Tyler? I'm like, I haven't seen him yet. And then finally this tour popped up, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Thomas Wynn, you, and the Temperance Movement?
Yeah.
It's like the trifecta for me.
It's a great bill of folks for sure.
Yes. And then one of the things I was going to ask about is you have played with there's such a laundry list of, it's a who's who you've opened for, played with, been on tour with. Is there one of them or a couple of them that stand out as like, I can't believe this just happened?
Yeah, it's Jeff Beck, AC/DC, and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That was just unbelievable, yeah.
Yes. I can't imagine what it would be like, or you can tell me, what it was like to get the call, do you want to open for Guns N' Roses?
Well, that was sort of like, we were already out with AC/DC, so we were kind of in that world, and in that tour we got a 3-show audition with AC/DC.
Oh.
And then it was, if Angus likes you, you can carry on. And then when we met Axl for the first time, he said, what would you like, or would want to get you guys to come out and play with my band? And so that was pretty cool to get the invite like that.
I can't even, like, in my mind, that makes my stomach flutter.
Yeah.
Like the thought of like getting the call, like the guys you're on tour with, the Temperance Movement, got the call from the Rolling Stones. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that moment when you're like, what?
Yeah, no, it was
like I've arrived.
It was unreal, yeah.
If you
So
ever,
cool.
I don't know that you feel like you've arrived, but in that moment,
no.
I would be humbled down to the.
Yeah, that was one of those experiences where it felt like we didn't do it. You know, when the tour was over, I was like, what just happened? But I never really feel like, you have moments where you feel like, oh yeah, we've won. But there's always, it's this like tricky balance of trying to really be present in the moment and to enjoy it and to drink it up, and then to also keep pushing yourself and pushing the band forward and working harder and trying to make better music and put on better shows. And you know, because when you're out on a support tour like that, you're the opening band. You can't think, oh, we've made it, because the truth is you haven't made it. You're an opening band and you're lucky to have the opportunity to try and prove yourself.
Right.
And that's what we approach every show with, unless we're the last band playing, and then we give it even more.
Right. You're like, we're going to switch it up, and we're going to give you everything we got.
No.
Down to when your fingers bleed.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, New York was a bloody mess for sure.
I saw those pictures on Instagram, and I was like, oh my stars, you left it all on the stage.
Yeah, we were closing that night. We've been switching off with Temperance Movements with who closes, and that was just one of those things where I looked down and saw that there was blood on someone in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, are they all right? And then I looked and I was like, oh no, am I all right?
You're like, wait a minute, who's been shot?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You're like, my fingers are just doing their job.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Now, do you mostly use picks? Do you use pick and then you just get down to it and it's over, or do you just use your...
You know,
you do both?
I switch it up a lot, but
Yeah.
that was just one of those freak accidents that
you were going.
Yeah, my resonator has a couple of little sharp places, and I hit one just right and didn't notice it for a few songs.
Yeah, every time you pull that guitar out, I feel joy.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, like when we were at the sound check the other night in one of the cities, and it was laying on the bar, and I was taking pictures of your baby.
Yeah.
I was taking pictures of your baby. That guitar is extraordinary. It produces great sound, and you can tell it's well loved.
Yeah, absolutely. And the resonator guitar, like playing slide like that, is it's like a way that I like to kind of. I always wanted to use rock and roll as a sort of like a delivery method to give people blues. So when I put on the resonator, you know that the blues is about to happen.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. A lot of times when I'm interviewing people or talking to artists, I'm trying to distinguish. People say, well, if you like X, you can't like X. Or what do you mean you like rock and roll and you like outlaw country? Or what do you mean you like gospel and rock and roll? And I'm like, but you can't have one without the other because they beget one another.
Yeah.
And I think the blues is by far the beginning of rock and roll.
Oh, hands down, yeah.
I mean, so when you pull that out, I feel like you're just such a young, talented, people have been talking about you for years. Probably, what, have you been on the scene 13 years?
It's been about 10 since Caleb and I started playing.
Okay.
But I mean, I was playing around Texas, with a blues band before that.
Right. So you're like channeling the blues. This it comes out of you like it's just who you are. It's out of your pores. It's a beautiful thing to see someone so young doing that in rock and roll and having this. I mean, I was blown away by your first set the other night. Like, I've heard you on social media and in videos, but I hadn't seen you live.
Wow.
Do you ever feel like you get lost in it? It just takes over?
Absolutely, man. I spend the whole day overthinking and getting in my own way, and then when I get on stage, it just all goes away. Mm-hmm. That's like sort of my safe place. And to also to look out and see Shakedown fans and to see them singing along. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of like leaning into, this fan base that we've spent so long cultivating from the ground up. And you have some loyal followers. Yeah, we're small but mighty, man. Yes, very mighty. For sure. And for me as a fan, I noticed that when a performer, like let's say Jay Buchanan, I think you're friends with Jay. Yeah, Jay's a good friend of mine. Man, I love them. Like, I love the Rival Sons. But me too. Jay and you and other people that we know and have mutual friends like Phil of the Temperance Movement, they get so lost in it, it gives the audience permission to get lost in it. Yeah. And as humans, we're not present very often. Yeah. But when someone is pouring their soul out like you do every night, it gives me permission to be lost. Yeah. No, I love it. That's what music is about, It's about kind of getting out of yourself for a moment and just kind of finding whatever truth it is you need to find and holding on to it and shaking it and whatever it is. Yes. But yeah, that's something that I just try to get out of my own way and allow myself to get lost in the music every night. And sometimes you get distracted and but it makes, whenever you're able to completely kind of just submit to the music. It makes for really special shows. Yes. Well, so far I'm at the halfway mark. Yeah. So in this journey with you guys, I'm sure I'll get more. When I saw you at the show, I was really like right before we went on stage, I was like, how am I gonna do this? I just had no energy left, and there's just... It gets tiring being out on the road. Absolutely. Just sleep deprivation and... I mean, we're just following the band and we're tired. Yeah. We're not up... We're out here, but I'm always trying to channel energy to the performer. Like, I feel like as the fan, my job is to give you what I've got. Yeah. With attention. No, I love it. And, I know that Phil is like that too. Phil's energy... He starts to rev up as he gets ready to go. Yeah. And and then once you get up there, it's like you become the blues rock and roll. Like, you become it. Yeah. There's no ands, ifs, ors, or buts about it. You are up there delivering 152%. Yeah. You just try to get out of your own way enough to do it. And like the other night when I saw you at the show, that was one that I was worried about, and it ended up being one of the best shows, And that little boy, there was this little 10-year-old boy. I know, I tried to throw a guitar pick at his face.
He got it. I actually grabbed it and shoved it to that little child was so happy.
Good.
And just to see a little kid that excited about music. I mean, my daughter's 17 now. But we've raised her, and she loves it, and it makes me so happy.
I always try to hit the little ones.
I'm like, it's like at the baseball game. Give that ball to the kid. Give that pick to the little kid.
I always try to. If there's a kid in the front, I always try to at least throw a guitar pick at them. That way they can, And I looked at him once he got it and was like, here we go.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, like, for rock and roll, it's like, parents have to educate their children, and we have to, kind of make the next generation aware of, how good rock and roll is and how good it can make people feel. And
well, I definitely feel like, and this is after just 2 shows on a 4-show run, that you are the future of rock and roll. I often say the Rival Sons, the Temperance Movement, and a couple other bands are, what's next in rock and roll, and you're definitely in that class.
I'm honored that you would put me in a category with those guys.
I mean, everybody complains there was this time for the last few years where people are like, rock and roll is dead, and I'm like, no, it's not. You're just not hearing it on commercial radio all the time.
No, yeah, it's definitely alive and well.
I'm like, it's alive and well, but you got to go out and spend your money and go support live touring bands. You have to not be so interested in the television, and every now and again go out and experience life, and that is, for me, is when I go out and listen to live music.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just so many great bands on the scene right now that are going out and just crushing it,
Yes.
And we're happy to call a lot of them our friends, and we've toured with so many great bands, and there's rock and roll is not in a state of crisis.
No, it is not.
A long stretch.
It's just not always on commercial radio.
Yeah, and if you want rock and roll, dig deep and go find it.
Right, it's out there.
Yeah, that's whenever people are like, do you think that rock and roll is dead? It's like, just, I would say, like, just because there's not a sandwich shop on that corner that's easy for me to get to doesn't mean people aren't going to eat sandwiches anymore. You
right,
know what
you
I mean?
might have to drive a little bit to get the best sandwich.
I might have to walk an extra block,
Right.
But it's still, sandwich is not dead, folks.
Sandwiches and rock and roll are not dead. You heard that here in Chicago in July. See, I don't even know what day it is.
I don't either.
I really don't. So switching gears a little bit, you got engaged was it last fall?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a minute.
I'm very excited. It was actually in December.
Oh, sorry, December. It was winter.
Yeah, it was in December. I was very, very excited. I've been, dating Rebecca from, most people would know her from Larkin Poe.
Yes.
But, we've been best friends for a long time, and so I was very, very
happy
pleased to ask her to be my wife.
That's exciting. Yeah, because you both live the rock and roll life.
Yeah, we do.
She's touring, you're touring, and then...
Well, she's also just one of the most grounded humans I've ever met, and is really just thoughtful, and also one of the few people that I've met that I will say, yeah, you work as hard as I do. Because work ethic is so important to me, and I know it's important to her, and I think whenever we put our heads together, we make a really, really good team.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, I'm really stoked. I
actually do know what day it is, because tomorrow is our anniversary, and my husband and I will be married 26 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm older than I look.
That's
I got married when I was... No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's when you find someone that gets you and lets you be who you are, that's a beautiful thing. Not everybody gets that in life,
absolutely.
So, congrats on that.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
When are you do you know when you're getting married? Is that a private, not on film conversation?
Yeah, we're gonna do it in the fall.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about we talked a little bit about rock and roll not being dead. How do you feel about the state of music in this country? And you can go any direction you want with that, but recently there's been a lot of talk about, is this genre, is this that genre, people trying to, what I call, genreify musicians. How do you feel about that?
I don't really know. I've never thought about it. I know that I get frustrated in my own life whenever people, they're a rock band, or they're a blues band, or then but then a song like Out There will come on, and they're like, wait, what?
Where does that fit in?
So we just that's also why we wrote so many songs for this record. Is it's just no fun to try and write music with parameters or like walls that are confining you, saying, oh, you're a rock band, so you can't do this, you can't do this.
Right.
And,
I kind of like all the last few years. There's been a lot of crossovers.
Yeah, why not?
I kind of like it.
I do too. I
kind of like seeing, like Maren Morris did that song with Zayn. It's called The Middle.
Okay.
But my teenager loves it.
Yeah.
And then she's getting introduced to something she might not have known before.
Right.
And who cares if you're blues or rock and roll? That's my take.
Well,
if you're good and I like it, and you're producing music, I don't really care what genre it as.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of one of the things I love about being in this band is we've gotten to tour with Zakk Wylde and then Blackberry Smoke, and then, I mean, those tours happened back to back, and then AC/DC, we played with B.B. King, and so it's like, as long as it's authentic, that's all I care about. I don't care what it's called.
I totally, that's exactly, I'm always like, well, is it authentic?
Yeah.
And is there integrity in it?
Yeah.
And otherwise, I don't really care what you put. People are like, well, what are that? What is that band?
Yeah.
Good? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really have a category for everything.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what we would call, like, I covered Americana Fest last year.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of flavors going on.
We've been asked to do it a couple times at Americana Fest, and I'm going, well, I never really considered us Americana, but we have songs that would definitely lean that way, and
right, last year, the Josephines, Tyler Childers, there was, and I considered the Josephines rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, well, I think Americana Fest is the Super Bowl of where we put the people we don't know how to get.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I normally get out of Nashville whenever big events happen.
Yes.
I'm such a hermit when we're not on the road, man.
Yes, you just kind of slink back and hang out at the house.
It's a festival. Peace.
Yes.
Go down to my studio cave and...
Yes, festivals are not always my thing, but Americana Fest, I got to cover it.
We have friends that come in from the UK every year to Americana Fest, and I honestly haven't had the opportunity to go yet.
Yes.
I know that the reason I would have gone last year was because Rodney Crowell was performing.
Oh, yes.
I'm such a fan, so I would have loved to.
It's hard to decide where to go. Like, every moment is a choice.
Yeah.
It was hard for me. I've never been so tired. Because all I did was run an Uber.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what the credit card looked like. But anyway, let's talk about this new album. It's 3 weeks old?
Yeah.
4 weeks old?
Came out on June 28th. Truth and Lies. And we recorded it in Brooklyn.
Oh.
Yeah, we wanted to get out of Nashville for a second and just get away from just life. Just dishes in the sink, grass to mow, get away from anything that might
distract,
be on your mind.
And
we went to Brooklyn, and we got an Airbnb, and we all lived together and took the subway to the studio, and it was a brilliant experience. We tracked it in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Wow. So that's impressive.
Yeah. Have you heard it yet?
I've heard the live versions.
Yeah.
I wanted to absorb it, don't be offended by that, because one of my rules is until I meet them, I don't.
Yeah, you told me that whenever we first met.
I want to feel it live, and I also want to get the vinyl and didn't want it to melt in the car. So that's happening tonight.
Perfect.
I was totally afraid it was just going to turn into a warped roller coaster ride.
Yeah, the vinyl is the best way to listen to it.
But the new song, "The Ride," is on the new album, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the songs that we're playing in the set right now we're kind of. We know Shakedown fans at this point, and they're pretty cool to go on a ride with us, and so we're not playing a lot of the old stuff on this particular tour, just because we're doing a co-headline thing with Temperance, so we're each playing an hour.
Right, you're not getting an hour and a half, so it's let's get the new...
When we did the album release show, we played the whole album, and then we did a whole other set, so we ended up on stage for more than 2 hours.
Did you do that in Nashville at the Basement East?
We did it at the High Watt because
the High Watt, that's
we had some sort of radius clause with the festival that we're doing. We had to play a smaller show,
I remember seeing that, notification for it.
Yeah.
But like I said, every weekend it's am I going to be at home in St. Louis? Am I driving to Nashville? Every weekend I'm I'm bouncing back and forth.
Absolutely.
So this tour comes to an end. Now, where do you go from Telluride?
We go home for a second, and then we have some gigs in the States. I know we're going to we are going to be in Trenton, Missouri.
Oh, I'll have to look up where that is. I don't know where that is. Me either.
That's next week. You know, I don't
You're
know.
like, I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm the worst with dates and
Do you just wake up in the morning and like, where are we going today, boys? I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, that's sort of what that song rides about. It's about not looking too far into the
like
future and just being in the moment. And, you know, right now we're in Chicago, so I've got to go get deep dish pizza after this and try to enjoy Chicago. And,
for a minute.
And then tomorrow I'll enjoy wherever we are tomorrow.
Tomorrow you're driving across the country to Denver. Okay. Then you'll be playing in Denver, and then you'll be playing in Telluride.
That. I'm definitely going to enjoy Denver.
I know your
It's
schedule.
so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Telluride is the most beautiful. We are not joining you in Telluride, but we will be in Denver.
Okay. That's going to be a great show.
Oh,
That's the last night of this excursion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone will be firing on all cylinders.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be
as they do every night.
Right. Like as if anybody leaves anything here. Well, I'm just thrilled to finally meet you and to get to interview you. And I love your music. I tweeted that I was flabbergasted, and your Shine Down Nation kind of took to it, and it's gone a little, you know, like my notifications have gone a little bonkers.
Yeah. No, we have really great fans.
Yes,
They're
you're lucky.
So good. Yeah.
You know, and I know you're nice to them, and that's one of the things I appreciate about a lot of the touring bands is when they really, you know, take care of their fans, and I know you do.
What would we be without them, you know?
Right.
So, and it's sort of a thing of they know, you know, the ones that have been with us for so long, you know, we know a lot of them by name, and if we don't know them by name, we recognize their faces, or, you know, and a lot of them we haven't even had the privilege to meet, but I think that the whole thing is rooted in just, like, they know that we are just trying to make the most authentic music that we can, and they come to the shows knowing they're going to get everything we got.
Right.
You know.
And I have no doubt about that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Cheryl Swift. That's rock and roll.
Thanks for having me.
And this is Tyler Bryant. We wish you all peace, love, and rock and roll.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.